Hi everyone. So today we are going to discuss about how to use Notion AI for BA documentations, right? So like on meeting notes, knowledge base, multi-audience summaries and requirement drafts. So this is what we are going to discuss. Notion is different for banking BS. Okay, so let me start with a problem statement so that it would be very easy to understand. So here I have mentioned one line that Notion AI solves all three. It becomes your living documentation system that grows smarter with every project you add to it, right? So these are the three things which I have mentioned, that notes go and nowhere, and knowledge is lost, meeting summaries take 45 minutes, right? So let me start with the problem statement, because understanding exactly what problem Notion AI solves tell you why this is a different tool for from ChatGPT or Claude. So problem statement one, as I mentioned, notes go nowhere. So every requirement workshop produces valuable information, stakeholder decisions, requirement surfaced, regulatory constraints identified, and open questions raised, right? That information gets typed into email, sent as an meeting attachment, and saved to a shared drive folder, right? This is what we do generally. Whenever it is required to find out, then we find that it is lost. Effectively it is lost. 3 months later, when a new developer joins, or BA joins, or anybody joins and tries to find out that what was the discussion, what what kind of discussion was there, what happened to that discussion, what decision was taken after that, and all that. So it is very difficult to find out. There's a problem statement one. Problem statement two, as I have mentioned, that knowledge is lost, right? So what happens when a BA moves to different project or leaves the organization, then institution knowledge lives with them, right? This is what it happens normally. So the history of why certain requirements were written a certain way, the regulatory interpretations, decisions made in a specific meetings, the stakeholder context that shaped the product design, none of them none of this exists in the official documentation. So it exists only in the BS memory. When when that B is gone, it is gone. Like the knowledge is gone, right? Now, so meeting summaries take 45 minutes. Okay, restructuring raw notes into professional summaries with actions, items, and decisions is manual, slow, and repetitive, right? So as these are the problem statements, so these are the problem statements which I have mentioned over here. So that's why I recommended to use Notion AI. So here I have mentioned 6 high value use cases for banking BAs. Okay, first one is that meeting notes restructuring. Second one, BRD first draft generations. Number 3, multi-audience summaries. Number 4, searchable knowledge base. Number 5, requirement refinement. Number 6, stakeholder update draft, right? So these are the things which I have mentioned. Now why did I mention meeting note restructuring? So meeting note restructuring, it takes manually when you have to restructure the meeting notes. So it takes around 1 hour 2 hours. But when you use Notion AI, then it would take hardly 5 to 8 minutes, not more than that. Okay, 5 minutes per week, 3 hours, it will take 5 to 10 minutes, not more than that. And then the use case to BRD first draft generation. Like, so what it does, Notion AI drafts the complete I think BRD contains 7 to 8 sections. So BRD is structured from your workshop notes with context from everything else in your workspace. The structure writing that used to take 2 days becomes a same day delivery, right? So if we do not use the Notion AI, and if we write the BRD manually, then definitely it would take at least 1 day, 1 or 2 days. Okay, based on the requirements, it depends based on the requirements. But if we use Notion AI, then definitely it would take I think 10 to 20 minutes, and the same day we can go write the BRD, we can deliver to the customers and all that. This is what we can do, right? So that's the benefit of Notion AI. Then if I talk about the use case 3, multi-audience summaries. So multi-audience summaries, like one BRD, 3 types of different summaries for 3 different audiences. And this is what we can executive sponsors, technical lead, QA lead, each genuinely tailored. Okay, 3 summaries in 3 minutes versus 3 hours of manual writing. So this kind of benefit you will get it if you use the Notion AI. If I talk about the searchable knowledge base, so what it does, like you have the history. Okay, ask any questions about your project history in plain English, and 6 months 6 months of meeting decisions and requirements becomes instantly queryable. No more hunting through emails and threads. Okay, so that's why it is very faster. Requirement refinement. So requirement refinements like paste and ambiguous requirements, like ask Notion AI to rewrite it. Precision standard developer follow-up questions eliminated, right? So we can use Notion AI for requirement refinement, and it is very popular update draft. So what happens that whatever the meeting is happening with your stakeholders, and then a meeting notes is being saved to Notion AI. Meeting note is being saved to Notion AI, so it helps you to have the data, and draft version is already ready, so you can take the help from them later on. So these are the benefits which you will get it if you use Notion AI, and I would recommend to use this Notion AI whenever meeting is on, and whenever you have the meeting with stakeholders or any kind stakeholders, right? Now here you could see this use case 1 of 6, like meeting notes restructuring follow-up in 8 minutes. Okay, this is what I have mentioned. So what happens that if you go through the manual process, and if you use the Notion AI, so like if you have workshop is on, and it happens for 2 hours 3 hours, okay, and BA types of notes from memory. Okay, so during the workshop, what happens that sometimes you write the questions, sometimes you don't get time to write even the questions. You say to stakeholders that yes, okay, I just keep it in my mind and I will write it later. Okay, but when time comes to write it down, then you forget most of the things. Okay, and you try to recall them, that what was the discussions, and it takes time, right? Recognizes into section manually. You have to recognize each and everything that section wise manually as well. Hunts for action item and owners. Okay, who will be the owner for the items, okay, or actions, items or actions, activities, right? Sends summary, like and you have to send the summary today, like workshop gets over and the workshop completes, then you have to prepare the MOM, and you have to send them summary to the stakeholders. So again, it takes time to write it down, and you have to deliver the same day, but sometimes what happens that you do not find the time to complete the task. Okay, stakeholders have already forgotten details. Okay, now stakeholders, they don't remember what the discussion happened. Okay, but they keep their notes at the end because they need it, what they need it. Okay, if you use the Notion AI, so these are the benefits which you will get it, like workshop, it will help you into workshop, paste raw notes into Notion AI, and run the structure summary prompt, review 5 sections, edit if needed, send polished summary by 5:15 p.m. like this timing I have mentioned just like that. Okay, but only I would say that you guys, I would say that please try to use the Notion AI. It is really helpful, and how to use exact prompts I'm gonna show you, and I'll do the practically over the Notion AI, that how it helps you. Okay, so this is the exact prompt which I have mentioned, and I'm gonna use them, and I'll show you that how fast it is getting responded, and what kind of data you get it. Okay, so let me show you the exact prompts and meeting notes which I have mentioned. It's the exact prompts which I have written down. Okay, this is the exact prompts which I have noted down. So I'm going to use this, and here is the meeting notes. Okay, from this to this. Okay, from here to here, this is my meeting notes. Okay, and these are the questions section wise I have mentioned. So I'm going to use this prompt, and let's see how faster we get the response from Notion AI, right? So I'm going to copy this, and I'll put it over. I'll put it on Notion AI. So I have already logged in to into Notion AI, and here I'm going to paste the prompt, and I'll hit the enter button. Okay, once I hit the enter button, then you could see this section wise. Okay, section wise decisions made. Okay, then section 2 requirements identified, then section 3 open questions, section 4 active items, section 5 compliance regulatory points. So this is the raw meeting notes. Okay, these are the raw meeting notes which I have put it here, and now I'm gonna hit the enter button. Once I hit the enter button, then Notion AI, see how fast it is responding. Like section 1 decision made, Aadhaar eKYC via OTP will be mandatory for all customers. Decision by risk head implied as a risk policy decisions. Okay, then we have PAN verifications will be mandatory for loan amounts above 50,000 rupees. You could see this is very much summarized, and section wise I have received the notes, and this is what we can document and we can send it to customer. But before sending to customer, we have to read it thoroughly, and we have to review. We have to get reviewed this prompt response by the expertise, because this is related to lending and finance. And what happens that whatever the prompt you give, based on that you receive the answers. Okay, but whatever the answers you are receiving, that needs to be evaluated and validated before it should be utilized into any projects or sending to customers, and that is my recommendations. So see this, how beautifully structured way it has been structured. So how Notion AI, it has structured in a proper format and proper way, and that's why I recommended to use the Notion AI. Now share that prompt so that you can use it at the time of whenever it is needed to you. Now here I have written the BRD first draft structure document from workshop notes. Okay, so document purpose, you have to mention, give the prompt in this manner. You have to write the prompts in this manner, so that, and also I have written multiple prompts are there which I'll show you. I'll share the link of that sheet so that you can download and you can use them. And document purpose and objective. Then second one is scope, in scope and out of scope. Then we have stakeholders, rules and intents. Then we have function requirements. We have function requirements, then we have non-function requirements, data requirements, retentions, assumptions and constraints, open questions with owners. Okay, so here also I mentioned the prompt. Okay, you could see this using these workshop notes, and any existing project contained in this workshop generates a BRD with 8 sections, and you just have to use shall for mandatory and flag uncertainty review needed. Okay, so and here multi-audience summaries that we have already discussed about how Notion AI helps you in multi-audience summaries. So this is the way, like you can go for prompts which I have written, and I would share this links so that you can use them and you can utilize at the time of whenever it is needed. Okay, so I'm going to use this prompt on Notion AI. So I'm going to paste this here and hit the enter button, and let's see what kind of response we get it. Okay, so Notion AI, it is very much helpful, and I would draft version of the BRD. Okay, see this, scope, out of a scope, then stakeholders, roles and responsibilities. Okay, and then we have function requirements, non-functional requirements. We'll get it, non-functional requirements, and then data requirements. Okay, these are things which we are getting, assumption and constraints, then open questions. So 8 sections are there in BRD. So we have got this in a proper way. See this, we have got this in a proper way. So that's why I recommend to use Notion AI. It is really very helpful. Based on your prompts, definitely you would receive the proper and structured format of the BRD, and multiple things which you can do here. Now next prompt is also there, like summarize this BRD for 3 audience separately if you want to summarize. So this is the prompts which you have to use. Okay, and you have to paste the recent you have to paste the BRD content here, and that's all. So I'll share this link, I'll share this prompt so that you can use it. About it, the Notion AI, and this we have discussed in detail, And if you have any questions related to Notion, yeah, then please put in a question in comment box, and I would take that question, and definitely I would help you out, and I would provide my response to that questions. So that's all about this topic, and I would request you please subscribe the FinTech BA channel. Here we have the opportunity to learn about business analysis, learning domain, AI tools, career growths, and as I have already mentioned that I'm CBAP certified, CSPO certified, ACT certified. So I'm gonna discuss about them as well, loan management system, repayment schedules, and collections. So that's all about it. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching.